Hello, I'm Genesis. This is Junebug.
And this is Pippy.
And this is Let's See How This Goes.
I'm going to show you Pippy. He's our little hamster boy. He's Pippy. Let's see if the camera focuses.
Kind of.
He doesn't like the light because he just woke up.
Well, to be fair, nobody really likes the light.
Yeah, that is a really bright light. We're experimenting with a light today.
Yes, we are.
So, as you said, our names. And then I have two disclaimers. One, I'm not feeling well, so I don't look the best. And I'm not as peppy. But also, again, to anyone who subscribed to us, thank you. But if you were forced to, or some of my younger relatives are like, you should subscribe, you don't have to if you don't want to. But if you do want to stay subscribed, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, feel no guilt in unsubscribing if you were coerced into into our channel. But thank you either way.
So this is little Pippy. He's a hamster, obviously. He just woke up from his nap, and he's in the towel because he likes to pee when he wakes up. And also so he cozy.
We've had him for almost a year, right?
Yeah. We, if you want to show him the photo, we don't have as many hamster props because there's not as many out there. If you want to maybe get closer so the glare's not on.
Yeah. We'll just have to edit this part out too.
He's looking at me like, why'd you bring me out here?
Ta-da. That's glary no matter what I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's him with his Christmas hat on, and then him with his sister Bianca. They sometimes share food out of her tray. Hello, honey. But then we have a hamster ornament, but I was not going to dig through all the Christmas things to find this one ornament for this one video. It's just a cute little hamster with sparkles on it that you can hang on the tree.
Yeah, for whatever reason, people tend to steer more towards the rabbit or hedgehog stuff rather than the hamster.
Well, the bunny I can understand because there's Easter.
Yeah.
Hedgehog, I mean, they're adorable, but still.
And grumpy. Adorable and grumpy.
So, some background on this little guy. We also got him from a pet store, which is not usually the best. And I remember we just went in there to check it out because it was new. And we love animals. And I remember seeing the baby hamsters, and I'm like, oh. And Matt said, I knew we'd be taking one home today.
Yeah, she talked about wanting a hamster for the longest time, and I knew once she saw something that she wanted, then it was pretty much game over.
I mean, he wasn't expensive. The most expensive part was getting everything else. And they told us he was 21 days old, so 3 weeks. But then, after doing more research, we discovered he was actually about 2 weeks old because his eyes were barely open. You want to hold him?
Yeah, hold him for a while.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm. You said you peed already?
I think he did. I could smell it.
Okay.
Hamster urine, very potent at first.
I think pretty much all urine is.
Yeah. His poop is not. You can't smell his poop. Granted, it's the size of like a flea.
He's a Pippy.
He's very sweet. But anyway, we got him way too young. You're not even supposed to sell baby hamsters when they're 3 weeks old. It's recommended 4 to 6 weeks. Though he was about 2 weeks old. You didn't turn your phone on silent.
That was a bird flying by. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's the elusive Michigan bird.
That's right. If you just ignore it, it goes away.
So his eyes were barely open. And I was just so nervous because he was so tiny, and we'll upload a video of him as a baby. Like, his fur was barely grown in, like, he didn't have his...
You know what?
Matt's gonna silence the bird outside.
That's right.
Pippy, do you want to go in the case? Honey, come here. Honey. Okay, go in there. Casey wants to snuggle in here.
Yeah, I think he's still kind of tired.
Yeah. Anyway, before the bird interrupted me.
Yeah, watch out for those.
So I was worried about him because he was so small. His fur pattern hadn't grown in yet. His eyes were barely open. I don't even know if he should have been away from his mom.
No, They said that he was weaned off his mother already, and
Just barely.
yeah, obviously he was.
Because they kept all the babies in a cage together on the ground.
Yep.
So that was another sign, like, we don't want any more pets from a pet store. But then, so I had to make sure his food was small enough for him to eat so he didn't choke on it. I had to make sure he didn't, like, suffocate in his bedding. I had to give him the smallest amount of water so he didn't drown in his water. Like, baby hamsters are very fragile little creatures.
And they gave us terrible advice at the
Yeah.
start too. So they sold us sort of soft tissue blanket.
It's the blankie, which is horrible for hamsters, we found out, because
Yeah.
they can suffocate in those.
Correct. So
Because they love to burrow, but he's so small he could get stuck.
yep. So they said that the hamsters love these things and that he'll love it, and he did enjoy it, but it could also very easily kill them. And then when we brought up sand for dust baths, if we should look into
Like for a little litter box or like just to play in.
yeah, the lady looked at us kind of like we were idiots,
Yeah.
and like
I've seen so many people with hamsters, like, you take care of them good, that have little sand baths for them.
yeah. So the lady,
Like, don't get sand from the beach. Like, get pet sand.
yeah. So pretty subpar experience. I'm happy we got Pippy because he deserved a good home that, somebody's going to take care of him, which I feel like he's lived a really happy life so far. He gets exercise all the time.
Well, the lady, because I remember doing research before getting him, and just because I love hamsters, and they can have like 10% of their diet is like fruits, and they're like, oh my gosh, that will kill him dead if you give him anything fruity.
Yeah, anything other than the pellet food that
Yeah,
you
what
get.
they sold.
Yeah,
But it's true they can't have acidic things, which acidic isn't good for anyone in large amounts, but he can have the little apple chewies we give Bianca in moderation. He's
Yeah.
a little guy, like one slice a week is good for him.
mm-hmm. And he's so small and the pieces are so big it pretty much takes up his entire mouth.
I have to split the halves in half for him.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to see.
He's adorable. But then also, he was so young, he didn't have like his genitals in yet. They didn't know what he was.
Yeah, they sold us to him. They sold him to us thinking that
He was a little girl.
yeah, and that is so not the case.
So I was gonna originally name my hamster Pip. My hamster was gonna be named Pip because I wanted a boy. I just read that they smelled less. I was like, okay. But then they're like, this is a baby girl, and she just like tried to wrestle to get a hamster. I'm like, okay, this is mine now. And I didn't want the albino hamster because we already had the albino looking bunny and then the albino hedgehog, and he was adorable.
He is. He's very adorable.
So I'm like, okay, Pip doesn't seem girly. So I thought of Pippy. And then it was when you actually started to like develop that we noticed very much not a girl at all.
No,
No.
not in a subtle way.
You'll know this if you have a boy hamster or have seen a boy hamster. So I had a battle. I'm like, oh, do I start calling him Pip now? And then I just stuck with Pippy, and he's Pippy.
Yeah, I think Pippy's pretty gender neutral. Works for a boy or girl.
He's adorable. He deserves an adorable name. I think he's sleeping already.
Probably.
Aw, I like to see Bunny.
Well, now you woke him up.
Well, I just want to make sure he was okay. Because this is actually Bruce's little pillowcase.
Sack.
Oh, you can see him?
Yeah.
Here, I'll give him a treat. These are little papaya treats we give to them. They have... Bianca can eat like 5 because they're so tiny, but he gets like 2.
Yeah.
And he takes it so sweet from my hands.
Well, I'll jump into. I thought of a third story.
We're going to share some stories like we did with...
Bianca.
Yeah.
So probably the first story I can remember. I was cooking chicken on the stove, and
Oh, yeah, so excited.
since hamsters are more scavenge animals, they have a huge variety in their diet. Internet recommended that. Well, it recommended it said I could give them a small piece of chicken as long as it was unseasoned
And cooked.
and cooked. Yes. So
Very small piece.
after I was done cooking my chicken, I tore off a small piece that didn't have any seasoning on it, and He sat on my leg and we both had some chicken together.
We watched TV, like Pippy's just eating his little piece of chicken.
Yeah.
Normally he would shove food. Most hamsters just shove food in their cheeks and run, but Pippy is chill enough with us, he'll just eat the whole thing by us.
Yeah. He does stuff his cheeks very full, especially when he's running in the room with the rabbit. He'll go to her food tray, shove his mouth full of her food, and then wait to be put back in his house so he can hide her food in his house.
He prefers to hide the food more than eat it, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common.
They can't overeat. Like, hamsters get full, unlike our other two creatures.
Correct. Another story I would like to share is I had him on the coffee table here, and he was running on the couch everywhere, and I wanted to see what he would do with a new surface, so I set him on the coffee table, and he explored the edges, and I'd stop him from actually going over the edge, and then I stopping him to see, because by this time he was not pretty old, but I mean I didn't think he would try to jump off. I thought he was smarter than that, I guess. So anyway, I watched him run around, and then he got to the edge, and he stopped, and I was like, see, he's smart enough not to jump off the thing.
I was worrying the whole time. I'm like, stop him.
Yeah, I was like, no, he'll be fine, let him do his thing, and then he did. He made the leap of faith. And he was fine, but I didn't think he would.
Our coffee table's not too high, but I was like, I told you.
Yeah, she was, I told you so.
Well, he was known for when he was little to just like, pew.
Yeah, suicide, leap off, anything. We used to have a stand right here by the couch.
He would be out here with us instead of in the pet room because I was so worried about him.
Yeah, when he was super little, he spent time out here where we were more often, so we could keep an eye on him because he was able to fit in his food bowl. He was so small.
It was an old peanut butter jar lid, like something this big, and he didn't even take up half of it. He was so tiny.
Yeah, his fur wasn't all the way in, like.
It was just like a blob of white and gray, just.
Yep, and now he's got like a very distinguished coat. Like you can see all the white spots, all the tan.
Yeah. He's getting some red hair as he's getting older.
Yeah.
What was your third story, Mr. Genesis?
Right. So it was one of the times all three animals were running around in the room, and we love watching them, see if they ever bother to interact. We never forced them to.
No. Well, we introduced them. Like when Pippy was new.
Yep, and once we kind of show everyone, we'll set them down in certain spots, and if they happen to run around and congregate anywhere, then, I mean, it's super adorable to see. Well, we have this big box I mentioned in the Bianca video. It's big enough where all three animals could fit in if they wanted to. However,
they don't want to.
both Bruce and Pippy like to go into this box because it's shelter pretty much for them. Mm-hmm. And Bruce is so grumpy all the time.
That's the hedgehog.
Yes, the hedgehog is so grumpy all the time. He will go in there and just sit until he gets put back into his tank. So he was in the box first, just chilling. We were letting him be. And then Pippy found his way inside the box too. And of course, Bruce starts huffing. And Pippy just kind of goes to his own corner and chills. He does his own Pippy things.
Cleans.
Yep, he cleans, he runs around. And one of the times, Pippy ran up to Bruce. Bruce huffed, curled up into a little ball. Well, he didn't curl up. He just kind of put his head down.
Like a half curl.
Yep. And Pippy started petting inside his quills. It was...
Hey, brother.
Yeah, I don't know what he thought he was doing. Maybe he was just touching to see what it was. Because hamsters don't have good eyesight. It was just...
None of them do.
No, they don't. It was hilarious to see because he was like telling his brother, like, calm down, everything will be fine. But
or how come you're not furry?
Yeah, that could be it too. Like you're
maybe
bigger.
He thought it was a toy. Like good toy.
I don't know, but it was. She missed it. I was able because like I'm really curious. I'll keep my distance, but I'll poke my head down so I can see inside the box and.
And usually I'm watching Pippy like a hawk because he is by far the fastest of our animals. And the smallest. He can fit under doors if we're not looking.
Pippy is also her favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I love them all. I do. But it's really been a dream for years to get a hamster, and I don't know why a hamster. I think they're adorable. And I love him so much, probably more than I should love a hamster.
Yeah. Well, I've suggested guinea pigs in the past too.
Those are so smelly and loud.
Yeah, like I've mentioned other small animals, but hamsters. She is dead set on hamsters. So
You love him.
he is great.
He barely makes any noise. The loudest thing is his wheel when
Yep.
he outgrew his silent one.
He's only bit us twice, and once for you for the very first day of putting it in the box or taking him out of the box.
Because if you've had a hamster or just looked up hamster screams, if they're terrified, they make like a
Yeah.
like it sounds like bloody murder screaming coming from this little baby hamster. And he bit me because he wanted his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was so little. And then another time he just like curiosity bit my pinky because he was chilling on my lap and my hand was like in the blanket he was in, and he was just like, but it still made me bleed.
Yeah.
I got sad. I thought he didn't love me anymore, but he do.
Yeah. I mean, baby anything will have like sandpaper teeth, so it doesn't take much to.
He wasn't a baby.
He wasn't.
He wasn't full grown, but he wasn't baby.
All right.
We knew he was a boy.
Yeah.
And when did he bite you? Was it when he was a baby?
Yeah, it was when he was a baby. I'm pretty sure I was putting him back into his box because I remember my hand was down on the ground when it happened.
He doesn't live in a box, guys. Don't worry.
No. We will eventually get around to showing you the apartment, and the tanks that we have for both Bruce and Pippy are plenty big for them to get exercise.
I couldn't help carry the hedgehogs because it's so heavy and big.
Yeah, and then Pippy's, we took 2 of our older tanks.
20-gallon tanks, and then I put them together to make a big 40-gallon tank for him.
Yeah, removing the sides on those was no small feat, but...
We did it, and he is so much happier now.
Oh, yeah. He's got like a little path worn in the litter of like areas he likes to go. It's great.
He can have more toys in there.
Yep.
He's by far got the most toys out of all the animals.
And I feel like he uses his toys the most too.
Like, he actually is curious about things.
Yeah, we got a little wooden ladder for him to climb over. He's got plastic tubes to crawl in, and I've seen him use them all.
Oh, yes, my stories. I obviously have stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was giving him, no, he had put a piece of litter into his water bowl, because he uses a bowl, not a water bottle, because they hadn't been taught how to use a water bottle, just their mom.
Correct.
Because he was so little, so I'm like, okay, we'll start with the bowl. He can reach it. Because I don't know if he'd be able to reach it.
Not with the glass tanks we got him. We'd have to
We
have
have glass tanks.
You have to have a wire tank to hang it off the side.
And he'd squeeze through a wire cage now. If he really wanted to.
Yeah.
As a baby, he definitely could. But, so I took a little stick, like, what are they, like,
They're
wicker?
They're
Like animal wicker balls. I showed it in the Bianca video. She plays with them more because they're bigger. But I've given him pieces to play with. And so I was just taking the little wicker piece of stick and trying to get the bedding out of his water. And he just walks up to me, as he usually does, because he wants me to pet him. And then he just grabs the stick and just looks at me like, what you gonna do about it? And then he just walks away with it. I'm like, well, okay. That's his stick.
Yeah, I wasn't around when she told me about it, and
That's his stick.
I would have loved to have seen it.
That stick's gone now. He chewed it to a nub.
Yeah.
And then my other one is, I don't know if it's all hamsters or a Pippy thing, but he...
No, he's in there. Like, he's back here sleeping.
Yeah, he cozy.
Yeah.
He likes to burrow. He's a hamster. So, I didn't realize how much they love to burrow until I had Pippy. But when they were running around the room, he's a solitary creature, but he's curious about everything. He'd poke and Bruce. He'll go up to Bianca. He's jumped on her head before, too. But Bianca's social, so she wants to like get up in their business and be friends.
Yep.
But she's huge and scares them.
Yeah.
So she went up to Pippy like, oh, what's this?
Well, just about any time Pippy ends up at Bianca's food tray, she will join him in eating food because she thinks he's eating when actually he's just stuffing his cheeks full.
He'll eat the lettuce.
Yeah, he does eat some of her lettuce, but she will eat with him. I think it's freaking adorable.
But Bianca scared him, and instead of like just running or like doing the hamster thing where they go like this, he just turned around and like lifted up his tail and stuck his butt at her.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And he looked around at her like, "What you gonna do?"
Yeah, I'm not really sure what kind of defense mechanism that was.
Smell butt.
It was funny. It was good.
And he does that quite often. And I think he's done that to Bruce too. He's like, butt.
Usually, once Bruce gets a whiff of Pippy, he'll run away. But it's only happened once or maybe twice where he smelled Pippy and like.
They always like to cover up each other's scent markings.
Yeah,
like they'll rub against anything the other has rubbed up against. So like, this is mine.
The tables that Pippy's tank sits on.
He loves those. Yeah,
there's barely enough room for Pippy to get between the wall and the legs. Bruce somehow finds a way
He's like smushed.
Oh yeah, but they do that.
If he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, it's the first thing that either of them do when they're put down onto the ground is they'll go over to the legs and start rubbing their scents on.
I would highly suggest looking up a hamster, like videos of hamsters like rubbing their scent marks on stuff. It's adorable because he like rubs up against it because their scent glands are on their sides, and then he does little shakes because he's happy. It's like, yeah, this is mine. So he just is all shaky and excited when he marks territory.
Yep.
But I think we've talked about Pippy enough. I can talk about him all the time.
Yep.
Because I love this little guy, and he loved me.
Yeah, he every time we walk into the room at night to make sure everybody's got food and water, he'll stop whatever he's doing almost every night. Unless he's so engrossed in his wheel, he will run up to the tank.
Whatever side I'm on.
Yeah, and
he will like.
Yeah, he puts his paws up on the glass because he wants to be picked up. He wants to run around. Most nights we let him, at least for a little bit.
Or not, he goes in his ball.
Yep.
Not for very long, but he just hops right in. He loves his ball now.
Yeah,
it's like a safe spot for him.
Yeah. We'll always have the ball with us on the couch when he's on the couch with us. And
in case he wants to go in it.
Yep, if he ever climbs in, then we close it up and then let him roll around for a while.
Yeah. I love this little guy.
Yep.
And he's a lot easier to keep on the couch than Bianca.
Yeah, Bianca doesn't cooperate at all. He's curious and easy enough to keep on.
Well, and he's sleepy right now.
Yeah. So next week we'll be talking about Bruce the Hedgehog.
Do you want to say goodbye, Pippy? No.
Okay.
He says no interviews at the moment.
Okay. Well,
but we will be posting little videos of him this week and maybe tonight of him as a baby and doing cute things.
Yep. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.